Hi and welcome back to Kent's Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make this unbelievably easy Christmas cake. I honestly think anybody would be able to make this Christmas cake because it's so quick and easy, and it also happens to be vegan as well because there's no eggs in it, no butter in it, anything like that. First of all, you're going to need a kilogram of fruit, which is 2.2 pounds of mixed fruit. So I've chosen this mixed fruit which is already brandy soaked, which at the moment you can get from Asda. It's only £2.50. I have seen it in other shops like Lidl's. This one's 800 grams, so we needed another 200 grams to make it up to the kilogram. So what I'm going to do is put one of these pots of glacé cherries in. I'm going to half them, quarter them, and put them into the mix. That makes up a kilogram of fruit because I really like cherries in. This mix does say that it's got cherries in, but there probably won't be as many as I like in a fruit cake. And you need to put in 600 mils or 2 cups of fruit juice. There's a few recipes out there. You can use 2 cups of iced coffee if you wanted to do that, or 2 cups of juice. So I've decided to use this mulled fruit juice drink that I bought today because I thought that might make it taste more kind of festive. There's probably mulled Christmas spices in with that, so I'm going to be using that one. That was from Asda. And you'll need some self-rising flour, and you'll need a cup of light brown sugar. Now in the recipes that I've seen online, you just use the fruit, the juice, and then the flour, and I did make that the other day, and all of my colleagues said that they thought it was really nice. It's a very moist cake, but to me it wasn't sweet enough, so I am going to put a cup of brown sugar in, and I'll let you know the grams of that when we get to it. Now the 1 cup of brown sugar actually worked out to be about 150 grams of brown sugar, and you can just use, you don't need to buy pre-soaked fruits or anything like that. You can just use any combination of dried fruits up to 2.2 kilograms, because next you're going to put in the 2 cups or 600 mils of juice or iced coffee over this, and you're going to leave it overnight to soak. So buying pre-soaked fruit, you don't really need to. I just like the branded taste of the pre-soaked fruit. So put in your 2 cups or 600 mils of juice or iced coffee, and then leave this overnight. This is what it looks like when the liquid's in it, and then just cover it with cling film and leave it overnight, and hopefully most of this liquid that we've put in will have been absorbed. So when the next day arrives, you'll see that I've left this overnight. There is still some residual liquid left in it, but not very much at all. And some of the recipes that I've seen, you need to add slightly more liquid to it. So I think this will be absolutely fine without draining it. It's only very slight. So next you need to add 365 grams of self-rising flour to this mixture, which is also 2.5 cups. And you needed to have lined a 20 centimetre deep cake tin. Line it with parchment paper, butter it on the outside so that the cake isn't going to stick to it, and because the cake is going to be in the oven for a long time, I've also lined the cake tin with newspaper and put some string around it to completely protect it. And you also needed to have cut out a round shape from the bottom of the tin of parchment paper, just so that can sit on the top of the cake, because it needs to be in the oven for about 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is quite a long time. So if you don't cover it, it might burn. So add the flour into your mixture and give it a good stir until the flour is completely incorporated. It does need to be self-rising. So when the flour is all incorporated, the mixture should look like this. It is quite a thick mixture, but with that residual fluid, you don't need any extra added to this mixture. So then you transfer the cake mixture into the cake tin. Once the cake mixture's in the tin, level it out well, and then place your parchment paper over the top of the cake to protect it so that it doesn't burn. This needs to go in quite a low oven it needs to bake at 140 Celsius for an hour and 45 minutes, or until a toothpick or a cake tester comes out clean. That works out at about 290 Fahrenheit in American temperatures. So maybe 300 if your oven isn't fan assisted, but over here 160 Celsius if it's fan assisted, or 160 if it's not. So once the cake's baked and out of the oven, I will let you see what it looks like. When the cake has been removed from the oven and a skewer has come out clean, so when you put a wood skewer or a cake tester into it, when you pull it out, it must be dry, there must be no mixture on it. This did bake in 1 hour 45 minutes. Put it on a wire rack and leave it to cool entirely in the tin. What I do is I put tin foil over the top of it when it's cooled after a few hours, when it's cool to touch, and then just leave it overnight. And then what you could do is wrap the cake in tin foil for a couple of days before you're going to start to decorate it, and that'll just enhance the moistness of the cake. So the next step that I'll show you is when it's removed from the tin in a couple of days and I'm ready to decorate it. Don't worry about this top, because what we're going to use the top as the bottom, invert the cake so that the surface is flat to decorate it, and I'll show you how to decorate it next. Sorry if you can hear a noise now in the background. I've got my oven on and my oven's quite noisy. I'm just baking another cake, a different one. So after your cake has cooled and it's been out of the oven, what I do is I wrap it in tin foil at least for overnight, just to let everything kind of settle. And as you can see, this cake, I don't know whether you can see, this cake is extremely moist, and like I said, I have tested one with my colleagues recently and they really enjoyed it. So you wouldn't believe, for the amount of ingredients that goes in it, that you get this cake, and obviously that it is vegan. So what I like to do is, I'm giving these as gifts. So I bought some of these charger plates the other day. You can get them relatively cheaply from Home Bargains, Poundland. I'm sure they probably have them at Dollar Store in America, just so there's something to surround the cake. And I put it directly onto the charger plate before I start decorating it. And you're going to need some jam, like apricot jam. I've decided to use marmalade from Sainsbury's, and this is vegan, if you can see there. So you can use, I just thought that the tang of the marmalade would also give another sweet aspect to this cake. And then what I do is I use different nuts. I've got walnuts, pecan nuts, I've got marzipan fruits which are also vegan, which you can get from Sainsbury's, and I've got cherries as well. And what I tend to do is put a layer of jam all over the top of the cake, and then put rows of the different nuts, cherries, and only put the marzipan fruits down the middle to completely cover the top of the cake. And also I've got some gold spray from the top of the cake as well. This is also vegan. So I spray, when I've decorated it entirely, I spray the top of the cake with gold. But I'll show you that bit when we get to it. I'll put a layer of the jam on now, and then layers of the cherries and nuts, etc., and then show you exactly what that looks like. So you can see with the jam, and I've cut the marzipan fruits into half and then arranged them in this manner, so you know there's a bit of continuity for colours. The cake needs the jam on it when you're decorating the top of it, obviously, for the things to stick to the top. Okay, when the top of your cake, you've decorated it exactly how you want it. You don't have to use what I've used. If you don't like marzipan fruits, or you don't like cherries and you just want to use all nuts, or you want to use dried apricots or anything like that, you can do. Just decorate it exactly how you want to, and I think it looks really effective like that. And obviously it keeps it vegan because icing will contain egg whites. What you need to do is, when you've decorated the top, melt some of your jam just in the microwave. Watch it doesn't splatter everywhere like this one did. And then you just use a brush, a kitchen brush that you would base things with. just to glaze the top of the cake. So you just basically brush everything that you've decorated on top of the cake. So when you glazed it all, you can see it just looks slightly more shiny. And then obviously now if you're going to spray it with the gold spray, just see where it is. It's this one, edible cake spray, and it's gold. If you're going to use that, it's going to stick to it a bit better as well. So I'm just going to give it a light spray all over the top. So you can see when you've sprayed it, it just gives like a gold kind of sheen to the cherries and that's on top of the cake. You don't need to do it, it looks great anyway, but I just like the effect that it gives. It makes it look quite professional. So this is a wonderful cake. It's only vegan by accident. Anybody in your family is going to enjoy it, but especially people who are vegans, and it would also make a fantastic gift to anybody you know who is vegan, because I'm sure vegan cakes are very expensive in the shops. But like I say, anybody's going to enjoy it. I know it's the 15th of December today, but if you started making this cake tomorrow, it's going to be ready in 24 hours, and then you've just got to decorate it. It's not a Christmas cake that you need to spend weeks and weeks on. So I hope you enjoy it, hope you give it a try. Please leave me a comment in the description box below over what you think of the cake, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas. Bye.